the third millennia, in a strange place known as the United States of America, a war was brewing. Brainwashed Marxist idiots in colleges across the nation clashed with equally brainwashed, anime-obsessed neo-Nazis. Starbucks windows were shattered, Dodge Challengers were totaled, and Muslims realized that rental vans were cheaper than plane tickets. Skinny, anemic millennials from coast to coast were hospitalized with life-changing injuries such as sprains and first-degree burns. And the heroic knights of 4chan rose up to defeat Shia LaBeouf and drive the evil villain into a descent towards a madness the likes from which he would never recover.
No, easy, hold on.
As the enemies of freedom destroy the cities that raised them. As America begins to resemble an Iron Maiden album come to life, two heroes have risen up to fight against the culture of utter madness and restore sanity the only way they know how.
What the fuck?
By refusing to take any of it seriously. Mersh.
Buzzy, what is up with Tarantino, man?
What?
What happened to him?
People say I got a real twisted sense of humor.
He looks like he should be on the back of a $10 bill.
Oh my God.
Royce Lopez.
I don't know what it is about him.
Hola, me llamo Royce.
Maybe I'm sick of hearing about him.
Yeah, I don't like hot ham.
Maybe it's his face. He's a punchable face.
You wouldn't download a pig, would you?
He's done nothing to me. He's probably a nice guy.
I don't care.
I don't know what it is about the guy.
Big Cranberry has been lying to you.
Bound forever by their mutual love of smoking marijuana, Simpsons references and affection towards Alex Jones, these two men have joined forces to bring you uncut news and opinions directly from the belly of the beast.
He looks like he should be flying a kite with a fucking key on it. Brendan says he hasn't been able to use the N-word for a while. That's the source of his youth.
Saving Western civilization one childish dick joke at a time. Here they are, your new heroes of the Imperium, Mersh and Royce.
Bow, 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 bow. Hello. Bow, 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 bow. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Vengeance. This is Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday.
It is 80-something degrees, and it feels like 100-something degrees. Florida's back, baby.
Dude.
This is it now.
But last night it got kind of cold when I was out. Fucking hate it.
This is that weird period now where it's going to be like chilly nights, and in the daytime, for some reason, it's just unusually humid and hot. But yeah, the last few nights have been like cracking the windows, and I'm like, oh yeah, let's get some nice, cool, fresh air in here. But yeah, the daytime, we're getting nuked. So, hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick.
So people are saying that the stream is glitchy on Rumble.
What?
FYI, guys.
No.
Yeah, I know. I posted
Impossible.
I posted the link to our YouTube. It looks to be working fine on YouTube. So, just FYI, just putting that out there. If Rumble is being glitchy, we are live on YouTube. So whichever way you want to go is fine with us. And also on Kick, we're live on Kick.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. So remember, kids, steal your parents' wallets.
You should
get their credit cards and sign up for Stake.
I saw like a tweet the other day that was like Fousey banned from Kick because of botting his account, and I was like, I don't even understand half of the words in that sentence. Like, I don't even understand what Kick is, what it does.
What do you need to know?
What's a Fousey?
Okay, so Fousey is a streamer.
Fousey's OG.
Yeah, he's like a streamer that came up with like he's like one of the early. All right, you remember like the
Indian looking dude? Kind of.
Yes,
Yeah, I think I know who he is. He got into a fight with that Jack Doherty guy, right?
But that's what I was getting at. So you remember like the synths from Fallout?
Yes.
You know, so Jack Doherty and these young bucks, these guys we're dealing with now, and even like the Sneakos, those are like Gen 3 synths.
Okay.
Fousey's like a Gen 1 synth. He's that same kind of streamer.
Nick Valentine.
But one of the OG. Yeah, he's like a busted up old relic.
Okay.
Like the OG Jack Doherty. He's like one of these guys that just came from a rich family and just said the N-word a lot, like with the A, not with the ER, but like, it was like mad hood, yo.
But he acted like the ER. But he said it with an A.
And then he blew all his money on drugs and a really bad rap album.
Okay, thank you. I look again.
I'm just trying to fill him in. And don't start yelling at me in the chat. I know I missed a lot of shit.
No, I wanted the quick elevator pitch. I didn't need the whole
One more
thing.
detail. He suicide baits almost on a yearly basis.
A yearly stop.
Okay, fine. Daily.
At least twice a year. At least twice a year. He
Yeah, it's a
suicide
lot.
baits.
It's
Huh.
He's very dramatic.
Oh, look. You forget something every day. Fucking. So, let's start with this one. This is fun because
Head of the IRS.
I don't know if you know this, Mersh, but tax day is just around the corner. Yeah, that's right. Tax day is just around the corner. It's in 6 days. First off, a couple things. That BOI, that that BOI thing that I was telling you about, where it's just like this thing that under Biden they passed, where you had every company had to fill it out and pay like $500 this report, and Trump
And they
paused
said,
it.
We don't care. Yeah.
Trump paused it, right? But I'm still getting emails saying like, you better, you bet. I'm like, no, I'm not. Until I'm told I have to, I will not.
I bet you they're just hoping.
Yep,
A bunch
they're
of
hoping.
people are like, what about the rules?
No, I don't care about the
I got
rules.
an email, and
That's what exactly what I thought. They're trying to just get the money out. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But I realized that I got a letter from the IRS that said that I overpaid my taxes a little bit. So they're going to send me not a lot of money back, but a little bit of money back.
I've been hearing a few people say that.
Yeah, I know. They're like, he overpaid, and I was like, okay, but like an accountant did it, so it's not like I fucked up. Like I give them all the information and they do it. You know.
I mean, it happens.
Yeah. I'm happy about it, but then they send me a letter saying, "Oh, you overpaid. We're going to send you $400 back." I'm like, cool, but that's going to come in another letter. And I'm like, the government is so inefficient. Instead of sending the rebate check in the letter saying, here's a rebate check because you overpaid.
We got to keep the post office in business.
And not only did they
One hand washes the other.
even though Marie and I do our taxes together, obviously file jointly, we're married, they still send a letter to each person, even though it's the same address. The amount of
And then they're
fucking
gonna
waste
send you
in the IRS is crazy.
And then you're each going to get a separate letter with a check for $200 for some reason.
You ever tried calling the IRS? Yes. Wait for 6 hours, and then you don't get to talk to anybody at the IRS because they hang up on you. Mm-hmm. And then you got to start the 6 hour clock
I worked
again.
there. It's the same thing when you used to call like for the union stuff or like any HR stuff.
Yeah.
And by the way, HR back in my day meant just calling about like your medical. Remember that? Remember when HR was a cool part of your company?
Yeah.
You called about your medical, your personal
Oh,
time.
and your vacation.
Yeah,
your
and then you
vacation.
could like literally type your employee code in and it would be like, you have bing, bong, this
Yeah,
much,
yeah.
boom, bong. You're like, oh, perfect, thank you. And then HR became like, hey, you can't say that Jared from Accounts Payable is retarded. Like, you can't just say that at a meeting.
And then you got out of it earlier because now up until Trump took over and got rid of it, HR was like, you don't have enough black people in your department, so you need to diversify a little bit. And you're like, okay, but we live in Salt Lake City. Like, what do you want from me?
I'm doing the best I can.
This is Vermont.
I'm doing what I can.
This is Vermont. Like, what do you want?
By the way, I know we're going to hit play on this, but Wood, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You know, she got some lip fillers, but they're not bad.
Yeah, she's not bad.
The head of the IRS is resigning.
Discord crashed.
What?
Discord
oh
crashed.
yeah, Discord. crashed
Yeah!
completely.
Let's go, Discord. Is that
Hey,
better?
there's the boys.
That was just Discord sucking, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sucking
The
and
IRS is
fucking, am I
resigning.
right?
Only
Hey,
Fucking-
Whoa. Okay. Let's listen to the story. I know we're looking at the one. Let's listen to the story.
Of the IRS is resigning only 6 days before tax day.
Yeah, the head of the IRS resigned 6 days before tax day.
So this,
Acting
so
Commissioner
this is
Melanie
the lady,
Krause.
this is the lady that's all worried about your $600 Venmo transaction.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one that's worried about the $600 Venmo transactions. Hey, are we reversing that?
Made that decision in protest to a new deal with U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. The deal would force the IRS to ship.
Listen, by the way, Trump, I'm going to help you out here. You want Massey and you Rand Paul on your side with this whole tariff stuff? All you got to do is one simple thing, one simple trick that they don't teach you.
This guy did this with one simple trick.
Abolish the IRS, they'll be like, yeah, I don't care. If you abolish the IRS, Massey and Rand Paul will be like, yeah, tariffs are fine. We're not paying it, right? Yeah, that's I don't care. Go fuck off.
I'll bet you if you were to pitch that, or again, at the very least, if you have to replace it with something, the fair tax. I still say the fair tax is a good option. Consumer tax, still to this day, I would go with that. Like everything you buy would just be a higher taxed item, but they wouldn't take. You could invest money. you could make $100,000 in just crypto this year alone, and there wouldn't be any capital gains. There wouldn't be any of that other shit.
Right.
Would you not trade that in?
Yeah.
Would you pay
Yeah,
15% like more for everything else?
Yes.
But you don't have to file anything.
Yes,
You
leave
don't
me
have to just-
alone. Leave me
see?
alone.
They'll never give it to us, but goddamn, we can dream.
As you get older, you realize that instant gratification isn't all it's cracked up to be, especially when it comes to money. Pay your shit now, and you'll feel instead of the end of the year having to have this fucking bear that you have. You know what I mean? It sucks, and that's probably one of the hardest parts when you're when you
Actually,
get big.
waiting is the hardest part. That's what Tom Petty told me.
No, well then hypocrisy is the worst part, though, right? Tom Petty, man, that guy sucked.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And
Yes.
he wrote
Yes,
that
Tom
song.
Petty was fucking
No.
awful.
Yeah, and he wrote that
No,
song. And
no.
hold on, and he wrote that song about Clapton's kid.
No. I'm sorry. Tom
Free
Petty
Falling.
sucks.
Okay, you're a dick.
Free Falling
That's first of all very mean. He's a young baby.
with a bad father who left the window
Bro, he
open.
wrote Free Falling. He wrote Free Falling. He wrote Free
What
Falling.
and also
He
Free
wrote
Falling, and also
Falling.
Free Falling,
Yeah, how could he suck? He wrote Free Falling.
and the Bad Boy remix.
That's not fair.
What's your third favorite Tom Petty song?
Tom Petty?
Free Falling.
I can't. I'm high right now. I can't. Think
Yeah,
of
exactly. So
anything.
is he. So is he. That's why his music sucked. He was too high.
Tom Petty is fucking awful.
What was that
He's
song?
fucking
What
awful.
was that song from the GTA trailer? That
Free
was good.
Falling. And by the way, listen, he's a Floridian. He's from Gainesville. I should fucking be defending him like I defend Fred Durst, but Fred Durst is 1 million times the musician that Tom Petty ever was.
I'm not denying.
Who wrote Nookie?
I'm not denying. No, but don't
Tom Petty.
fucking
All right,
don't
fair
move.
enough.
Don't move the goalposts and change the argument. I obviously recognize the brilliance in the work of Sir Fred Durst.
He got knighted at the Sausage Castle
Yeah, no, it was true.
by Busey's kid.
Yeah, what was it? Which Busey is it?
Not Jake. It's
Mike
Wait,
Busey.
Mike Busey.
He
Mike
got knighted
Busey.
by Mike Busey at the Sausage Castle.
by the fat guy with the gun. He was knighted with an AK-47.
By the way, Mike Busey, if you're not doing that gimmick already, for fuck's sake, you should have been doing that for years.
Knighting people at the Sausage Castle. Why
You could
not?
just charge people like the British do. Mm-hmm. Like you get like D-list celebs that'll pay you like $5,000 and you
Yeah.
knight them.
Yeah. You'll be knighted at least at the Sausage Castle, at least in that county.
That's dope.
That county lets him do whatever he wants to. They don't.
Oh
give
yeah,
a fuck.
yeah. There are certain areas that you can just build right on the fucking border.
They don't
with a
care.
county that does care.
Yeah.
but in a county that doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's why we have Showgirls, which is in Plant City. It's a strip club that they built right at the edge of Hillsborough County. So like Polk County has a strip club.
Shit. Yeah. Also, the other side of Polk
Shitty
County
Titty.
has Shitty Titty
Lake
in
County.
Lake County, which is right on the border.
It's hilarious.
That place sucks.
Yeah.
But it's cheap. You got to give it that.
Showgirls isn't great either, but it's cheap.
You get what you pay for. You know? Anyway, sorry. I don't know how this happened.
The IRS is resigning only 6 days before tax day. The acting commissioner, Melanie Krause, made that decision in protest to a new deal with U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. The deal would force the IRS to share personal sensitive tax data belonging to undocumented immigrants with both ICE and the Department.
That's why. Because
Oh yeah, because they wouldn't share that. No, I know. It's
Department of Homeland
sharing the
Security.
data thing.
The data sharing deal was officially signed Monday night by the Secretaries of Treasury and Homeland Security, which notably
hear me out. Please, just listen to me. This is a good idea. Hire Ron Paul for one day as the head of the IRS. Just one day. That's all. That's all I'm asking. And then he'll go off into the sunset one day. Please. Please do that.
Yeah, I mean that was the original lineup we wanted. We
Yeah.
wanted Ron Paul for either the Treasury or for fucking or for
the
this.
Fed.
Yeah, and then we wanted Brandon Herrera for ATF. That
Oh.
would have been the real fucking picks.
Bro, you saw the divorce rumors for like Obama and Michelle where it got so big that she finally had to address it?
Really?
Yeah.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama is shutting down divorce rumors, calling speculation about her marriage flat out wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Him and Jennifer Aniston were just friends. Ba-ba-na-na-na,
We start actually finally like going, what am I doing? You know?
You're the ones that weren't showing up anywhere with him. Like you guys are the ones acting weird. Like they're acting super weird, and then people are like, hey, is something going on here? Like what? You're fucking crazy.
Who am I doing this for? And if it doesn't fit into the sort of
honestly, man, like, you know,
and why the fuck? Why would Barack leave her now? And you know, let's be honest, it's going to be a president someday.
But I don't. You know, when I used to always be like, you know, when everyone was like, man, Michelle's a guy, Michelle's a fucking dude, and that dude, you're like, you joke about it, but you're like, obviously, I don't think she's a dude.
I do,
but
Joan Rivers.
Just about to say, I was going into that. I was like, but and then they kept telling you that Macron's wife wasn't a dude either, and it turns out it was a dude. So
listen, man.
Look, my point is this: if it came out that it was a dude, I'd be like, yeah, I see it. It makes sense. You know,
I just based on Joan Rivers, I trust her.
Me too. That they killed her. I believe that they killed her. I believe they killed her.
stereotype of what people think we should do, then it gets labeled.
But that's the thing. Like, Obama was showing up to events where everybody was there with their wife, and he wasn't. Like, to several, so people were going like, "Is something going on?" Yeah. And this happened around the same time that the Jennifer Aniston shit leaked.
Yeah, you know what it's like? It's like it would be like you and your wife, like only one of you going to a wedding for somebody like that
you both know exactly.
been good friends with for years, and you're just there like, "What's up, guys?" And everyone's like, nobody's bringing it up to you, but they're all going like, "That's weird.
That's weird.
That's weird. That just feels weird to me. Don't say anything to him."
And then I had a wedding band tan on my finger. And then when you bring something up, I have the audacity to go, "What the fuck's your problem?"
And then somebody's like, I heard he was hanging out with Jennifer Aniston. Are you serious? Yeah, that's what I heard. Shut up. Dummy up.
If that did happen, that's exactly what would happen. Just FYI. If it was Jennifer Aniston.
I don't think anybody would be mad.
No, Jennifer Aniston. Jesus Christ.
List something negative.
And he banged her like, not even now, like in her prime from the story.
When was the story from? I thought this was like semi.
He didn't bang her recently. I heard that it was like little after he left office, I want to say. From what if I see this correctly, maybe fact check me, obviously.
Hell yeah. And if he banged Jennifer Aniston, what does that tell you? She can't be the only one. So that's just
or she's a dude.
But that's the one we know about. So like,
oh yeah, dude, of course.
Imagine like the shit that's under wraps.
Look, say whatever the fuck you want about House of Cards and all that stuff, but that show, as far as the way they covered these people's personal lives, was I believe 100% accurate. Like, that's how they are.
D-gens.
Yeah.
They couldn't even fathom that I was making a choice for myself.
Except they didn't throw somebody in front of a train. They just had him go kayaking at 3 a.m.
Self that they had to assume that my husband and I are divorcing. You know,
that's not a no.
This couldn't be a grown woman just making a set of decisions.
You know, whenever these fucking rich, out of touch Martha's Vineyard hoes, these fucking hoes, these black hoes who've never actually been hood in their life, start saying like, "That's a grown woman." You don't get to talk like that. Like, you think just because you're black that you have this fucking, "She's a nigga," like Viola Davis thing. You don't get to do that. Like, you don't get to do that. Like, no. There are white people that absolutely deserve to talk like that more than you do because of how they live. Honestly, Virgie's allowed to talk like an Ebonics person. He is. If he wants to.
Yeah, dude.
That's why he says the N-word. That's why he says the N-word all the time.
Yeah, dude, constantly. It wants to jump out right
but
now.
But that's how he refers to his neighbors in a friendly manner, too.
Yeah, dude, and they're Mexican. It's very confusing.
Okay, look at this. Not that confusing. Look at this. Look at that. That's a dude. That could be a dude, right?
Let's be, you know.
Look at the hands on that one.
I want to say I disagree. I want to say I have nothing but respect for the beautiful Michelle Obama, former First Lady of the United States of America.
Okay.
How funny would it be if she if
had a
they
penis.
divorced? No, and she came out as trans.
She should. That would be hilarious. And then I'd be like, Bill, what's your stud name?
Hear me out. If that happens, there's only one person we can run against her.
Who? Don't say it.
Caitlyn Jenner.
No, we can't do that. There's no way. Well, you know, Caitlyn Jenner is, well, in her former life was a winner.
It's a T-girl showdown.
Let's go. Hey, stop going through my Pornhub search history.
It's a femboy showdown.
A recent podcast, she said her recent choices included skipping high-profile.
What's your stud name? O-Face. What's her real name? Michelle.
File events were about self-care and not marital
Self-care.
Another
Self-care
made-up term.
is, to quote Norm MacDonald, commie gobbledygook that they made up. All right? Listen, it's called a vacation.
Yeah.
That's what we called it our whole life. Okay?
Listen, yeah, smoking a cigar in a hot jet tub is nice.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to call it
Yeah.
self-care.
Going to Vegas every once in a while is nice. You don't need to call it self-care.
It's having a self-care thing. No, you're not. You're getting drunk, gambling, and then eating Johnny Rockets at 3 a.m. That's not self-care.
You know, I have one specific towel I self-care in. Did you know that?
Discord. She explained her Hawaii vacation kept her.
She's doing, or there she has her hair in the natural look. It's a natural
natty.
Look. Natty,
It's
yeah.
natty.
From Jimmy Carter's funeral, and she chose to skip the Trump inauguration. Obama says she's embracing independence and
embracing independence.
That's
This sounds
not-
like something someone that's about to get divorced says.
That is not what you want to hear
when someone's asking getting
20
divorced.
plus years into a marriage.
I'm
Like
embracing
that.
focusing on her own projects.
Hello, These are all things.
Yeah. But you didn't go to an inauguration where every other first lady was there but you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, like, I'm not saying you can't write a book, but you could take a day off once every 4 years.
Up, sir, we have a series of executive orders and a memorandum all relating to deregulation, which has obviously been a major priority of your administration. The first of these is an executive order. The Biden administration...
This is Executive Order 2705-J, declaring that China is, quote, gay.
I'm going to sign that. It's important. He's acting like a real homo. And then he holds
Giant
it up.
signature
Then
on
he
it.
holds up.
China's
and it
gay.
just, it's a big font. It just says, China equals gay.
And then we get that we also have, because every executive order, obviously the printed version goes up on Twitter and on all the socials with the big fucking White House letterhead. So we'll see that everywhere. It's just China's gay. Boom.
launched what you've called a war on showers. They had...
Oh, this is a good one. He got rid of...
I've been out, frankly, and people smell very badly.
He got rid of the federal mandate in low flow, you know, that you had to have low flow shower heads.
Yes.
We could get full pressure ones, boys. We're back. We're back. We're back.
Thank God.
Certain regulations.
Good. I want my shower to feel like I'm fighting cats.
Yeah. No. Honestly,
Me too.
I like the feeling that my balls and asshole are getting pressure washed.
Me too.
I don't. It
Right? You
just
want
makes
the
me
sin
feel
to
better.
wash.
I want red hot water beating the shit out of me. So when I come out, I'm like, I'm clean.
Mm-hmm. I want to feel it coming off.
Is there anything worse than like going to like staying in like a shitty hotel room where it's super low flow and you're like, just try? It's like a trickle in a jungle,
And you
just
never
trying to
feel
get a
clean
little-
and the soap never
Yeah.
really comes off?
No, I want to feel like I'm getting pressure washed.
That basically killed the water pressure of showers and other water appliances.
You can say it. Go ahead. What are the appliances?
I mean, it's everything, sir.
Sinks and toilets, heating ones.
Dishwashers, toilets.
This
sinks.
man has a Japanese toilet. It shoots water into his asshole, folks.
It's great, actually.
But the shower heads are a
There's
huge
no
deal.
water. You don't get water. It's ridiculous.
So with this executive order, we're effectively going to be reversing that set of regulations to ensure that Americans have choice in the consumer market. If they want a low-flow shower head, they can buy one. If they want a real deal shower
They
head,
don't. They don't.
They should have the ability to get one. That's true.
You buy a new house, you pay a lot of money, and the developers, you're not allowed to do anything more. They put restrictors on. They used to have a restrictor where you could take it out, but now they weld it in, and you take a shower.
This is what happens when a real estate guy who's been holding a grudge for 30 years about something, because this was 29 years ago when they passed it. He's been holding a grudge because he probably had to do this in a bunch of his buildings. He's
Oh, I'm sure.
finally going, I'm getting rid of that. He probably walked and he stayed in some foreign country and used like their hotel and used their shower, and it was better than ours, and he was like, "What is this?
Yeah.
No, we're fixing this."
Yeah.
Wash your hands, whatever you do. including
Yeah, because I
dishwashing.
guarantee you, man, if you take a nice hot shower in a fucking high-end hotel in Dubai, I'm sure there's just all kinds of fucking water and soap fucking rocketing into all your shit.
Washes when no
They probably
water
have, like,
comes
you ever
out.
see those, those like showers now that look like goddamn car washes? There's like the overhead and then it shoots out from the side too. And it's like you're literally like underneath a car wash. It's like fucking awesome.
I want the water pressure to be so hard that I feel like a black guy miscegenating in the 1950s in Alabama.
Boom.
That's how much I want the water pressure to be.
I want, when I'm taking a shower,
Not the dogs.
I want to waste so much water.
Me too. When I'm in a hotel, I leave it on. That boy stays on all the time.
So do I.
This is the hot water never runs out. That's a central heater. I leave it hot too all the time.
That's actually how I get away with smoking in hotel rooms.
Yeah,
I just run the shower super, super hot for a little bit and run the sink super hot while I'm taking like a shit or something. And then before I'm going to get in the shower anyway, when it's full of steam, you can get off one full cigarette and then flush the cigarette. And, by the time you're done with your regular shower, all that smoke's gone.
I want my shower to be able to both peel and cook a potato.
Someone in the chat's got a good point. What if he only ran for president for this one reason, the shower head thing? Then he just leaves. I'm done. I did it.
And in my case, I like to take a nice shower to take care of my beautiful hair.
You shitbuster.
I have to stand under the shower for 15 minutes till it gets wet. It comes out drip, drip, drip. It's ridiculous. And what you do is you end up washing your hands 5 times longer. It's the same water.
He's got a good point. That's the other thing, too. When there's low pressure, I have to stand in the shower longer than if there's more to get clean. That's actually true.
And we're going to open it up so that people can live.
Dude,
and
King
we're
of the
gonna
Hill
hopefully-
did an episode on this in like 98.
These are just dumb government regulations. They're just stupid. For no
Wonderful.
reason.
The brilliant Mike Judge. Brilliant guy.
have Congress approve it so it's memorialized. We're going to try and get all of these things, including straws, a little thing like straws. We did straws.
Yes, bring straws back.
By the way, President Trump, can I just, not to look, I know everyone's yelling at you and telling you how to do your job. I've mostly stayed out of it, but I'm telling you how to do your job this time. It's not enough to bring back plastic straws. You have to literally ban paper straws.
No,
Make them
paper
illegal.
straws should be illegal. If you sell them, you go to Gitmo.
Thank you.
There is nothing. Look now, like
It's so pointless.
the only one now. The only like they've come a long way in terms of disposable ones like that aren't paper. Like there's the ones that are made out of like agave or bioplastic or whatever. But those still aren't the same. I want an old fashioned big old McDonald's straw everywhere I go. Remember when we
red and white?
I'll never forget this. I mean, we've probably brought it up a billion times, but it's something that stuck with us forever. When we were in South Florida many, many years ago for the show, we went to that milkshake place. Remember, we went to that burger place and we went to get a milkshake.
I think it was BurgerFi.
It was BurgerFi. And since that city that we were staying at had an ordinance that said you were not allowed, any restaurants was not allowed to have any plastic straws.
Was it West Palm Beach?
No, it was Sunny Isles.
It was Sunny Isles.
And then we go to get a drink. And they give you a thin paper straw to drink a fucking milkshake.
And by the way, a very good thick milkshake.
Yeah.
Like,
Fuck
by the
off.
way, no complaints on the milkshake. But it was, it was funny. I remember that. That was when we were down there. Failure was with us.
Yeah.
Because I remember the two people that got milkshakes were you and Failure.
Yeah.
And I was laughing hysterically watching you two just going. And then eventually you just Royce was going. And it looked like he was going to have a stroke. And I was laughing. And then I just remember Royce went and asked for a spoon. And then he sat there. He was like, he sadly took the thing.
But you know what I said? I said, but I could have a plastic spoon.
Yes. That comes in that plastic.
That comes in a
foil.
plastic wrap.
But
the straw. Look, fuck turtles. First off, let me start off right there. All right.
Turtles are dicks.
A month ago.
I can't even turn the light on in a room when I'm staying by the beach because these fucking retarded turtles think it's the sun.
Fuck turtles, bro.
Yeah, you got to piss in the dark, otherwise you're gonna murder turtles.
Yeah, well, fuck you, turtles. I'm not gonna piss in the dark.
The paper straws were melting.
Shredder did nothing wrong.
They were dissolving. They weren't.
Nothing wrong.
Wait though, but was Shredder's? But I don't think Shredder had beef with turtles in general.
He did at the
that's
end.
the entire show.
No.
That's the entire show.
But what I'm getting at is he had beef with 4 particular turtles.
But right,
How would you
if
know?
they,
There were no turtles in the show.
If they would have been Teenage Mutant Ninja Aardvarks, he would have hated Aardvarks the same. He didn't have a problem with turtles before they were trying to kill him.
But then but what I'm saying is, so that his beef with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, did that translate into now I hate all turtles? Like when he saw regular turtles that were non-mutated?
This is very important. Listen, first off, Ray, a Teenage Mutant Ninja Aardvarks.
I need to know if Shredder was racist against turtles.
Yes.
Or if Shredder's beef with those turtles started because they're coming along.
Did he hate turtles before? I doubt it.
Because they're
Why
fucking
would he
with
hate
his
them?
Foot Clan. They're fucking with his plans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So of course he's going to hate those guys.
Right.
So I'm just wondering,
Teenage Mutant
did
Ninja
Shredder have a beef with
Aardvark.
turtles as a whole?
What? No.
These are important questions.
This is what
that
we
people
really.
are pondering.
Everyone's talking about dumb shit today, and it sucks. They can't starve. He says, "I wish Virgie's laugh was an energy drink." Champion Bug.
Yeah, actually, thank you, Free Midwest. His beef was actually with Splinter. Right? It was
he didn't
Splinter and Shredder
he
that
didn't
had
like-
beef.
He didn't like Jews.
So really,
So you're saying a rat made him hate all turtles?
So the Foot Clan.
Wow, subversive Splinter.
So the Foot Clan on one side,
Nice.
and then Michelangelo, Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael on the other side. These poor guys were all just pawns.
They were. Yeah.
So really, the two bad guys were Splinter and Shredder.
Yeah. Well, kind of like Magneto and Xavier, and they brought all these kids into it for no reason. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically Russia versus Ukraine,
Mhm.
where both
Maybe
both sides are bad, and a lot of people are getting killed
Mm-hmm.
over what? Your beef? Why don't you two
Yeah.
fight it out?
Yeah.
Maybe Shredder just hated Italian turtles.
Champion Bugman says, I like my shower so hot it can cook. Whitney Houston and her daughter. Camera Chris said, fuck turtles, and he said, I'll put that in a second, Chris. All right. That's the important stuff that we talked about so far. Somebody did this. All the countries that Trump put a tariff on.
And now, the nations of the world, brought to you by Donald
Stupid, but it
Trump.
made me laugh.
United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic, Dominican, Cuba,
Okay.
Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador,
Jesus,
too,
that had
Puerto
to
Rico,
take.
Colombia,
He said
Venezuela,
every one of these
Honduras,
words,
Guyana,
too.
and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobacco, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam.
Okay, can you?
This is very cool.
I got to admit, I was ready to hate this because I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And I genuinely thought we were going to get another low effort AI. Everybody's cranking out somebody autistically
yes
cut up.
Yes.
An
Every-
instance where he really said each
Every
thing.
one of those words, yeah.
That's batshit
That's
crazy.
fucking nuts.
That is hilarious.
Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now in one piece. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey and Greece, Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia,
God.
Oman, Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq and Iran, there, Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan,
Holy
Yemen, Kuwait,
shit.
Bahrain, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium, and Portugal, France, England, Denmark, and Spain.
The last one's the craziest one.
India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, then Borneo, and Vietnam,
Oh my God.
Ghana, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria,
This is insane.
Ghana.
Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi. Go to Spanish Sahara is gone. Nigeria, Chad, and Liberia, Egypt, Benin, and Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Algeria,
my God.
Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea, Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Majorca, and Cayman, Hong Kong, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Great Mauritania, Pennsylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan.
Jeez, man.
That was funny.
Bravo.
Very well done.
Man, I
AI's going to kill this, by the way. You're right. AI's killing. AI's going to kill this because no one's going to do
like
it.
I genuinely expect. I was like, oh, I know the premise. We're gonna get AI slop. No,
No.
We
This-
got
this was
something
made-
that was crafted.
This was actually made during his first presidency
Oh, okay.
before AI existed. And there was a version that killed me, a shorter version, and I can't find it, but there's one someone made where it's literally just China and China and China and China and China and China.
That's pretty good.
That's very funny. On the flip side, I don't mind low effort if it's not AI.
Yeah.
As long as you did it yourself and slapped it
Hell
together.
yeah.
Speaking of low effort, after having a secret meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu, Tim Pool decided to have one of the worst takes in the world. So this is about that Carmelo Anthony kid, not the basketball player, the murderer. Well, here you go.
For one where he says, what is it? Nothing matters but this. He was at a school event at the wrong team's tent with a knife. He clearly chose murder than to walk away, cut and dry here. Nope, wrong.
Wrong.
You know, I still love
this guy. You fucking Occupy Wall Street homo. I really hate this guy.
To this day, I don't know why people watch this guy, because it would be one thing, right, to even have a bad take on this. But, like, to read a comment like that and then at least say something like, I disagree. Here's why I think you're wrong. But
Wrong.
But, like, the way he goes, you're wrong. It's like, how would anyone in real life deal with this guy? Anybody who's part of his circle are really just sucking his dick for clout. There's nobody that can like this guy.
Imagine you are invited to a party at someone else's house.
Okay. Well, that's never happened to you,
I was
but
gonna
it's
say,
happened to
when-
me.
When was I don't have to imagine it.
Yeah.
And you are legally carrying a firearm.
Okay. So far, so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then a fight breaks out, and or like an altercation breaks out between you and some guy, and there's drinking involved or whatever. I'm not trying to make a 1-for-1 scenario. I'm trying to create a potential scenario.
I'm trying.
Why don't you just address the scenario that happened?
Because he can't without changing the rules and moving the goalpost.
Okay, because whatever direction you're about to go in, Tim, let me explain that to you as somebody who carries a gun. If I go to a party and I have a gun on me, right, and an altercation breaks out involving me and another person, and they don't have a gun,
yeah,
and they haven't struck me or done anything to me like very violent, and I shoot them with my gun, I would be arrested in the state of Florida,
Even in Florida.
for a murder,
Even in
for
Florida.
second-degree murder.
Or like an altercation breaks out between you and some guy, and there's drinking involved or whatever. I'm not trying to make a 1-for-1 scenario. I'm trying to create a potential scenario.
A completely made up hypothetical that has
Right.
nothing to do with this. Because
This has nothing to do with
I'm
this.
just trying to confuse everybody.
Right.
Separate.
Because most of my listeners are just boomers and stuff.
Yeah, they're idiots.
Yeah, they don't know. I look like a Tony Hawk thing, and they go, my grandkids used to play Tony Hawk.
Yeah. They think that Phil Labonte makes my show cool.
Mm-hmm. They think Puddle.
You know what I mean? Like those kind of people.
They think Puddle of Mud is cool music too. It's like rad,
From this
Puddle
one.
of Mud
similar.
is cooler than As I Lay Dying.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what band I'd rather hang out with.
Mm-hmm.
A potential scenario separate from this one with similarities.
Well, that's the
You go to-
thing, Merch. As I Lay Dying isn't a band. It's just Phil Labonte and him paying fucking Richardson, the fucking dude who wrote all his music.
Nice.
With similarities. You go to a party. Let's say you go to a party. And
yeah, you're right. An underage person, by the way, bringing a knife to a fucking a track meet or football thing or what fucking ever is the same as bringing a gun to a party as an adult. Same shit.
Some guy starts
Can I just blow all of this Tim Pool shit out of the water so we can get it right out of the way?
Oh yeah, he's retarded.
Subchapter C, Protection of Persons, Section 931. A person is justified in using force against another when and to the degree the actor reasonably believes the force blah, 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 is presumed to be reasonable if the actor, and then Section 2 says, did not provoke the person against whom the force was used.
Party.
Sorry,
And-
Tim, that's why you got arrested. You're wrong. Sorry,
Some
you're
guy
wrong.
starts saying stuff like, yo, man, get out of here. And you're like, I can do what I want. I was invited to the party. Verbal altercation escalates. And then
Where did you go to law school, Tim? Huh? RVU? Like, what the fuck off? Like, he's just spouting stuff. He's just so wrong.
Do you think Tim has these like fantasy in his mind?
Where
of,
he's
like,
talented or funny? Yeah,
no,
probably.
No, but like where he goes to like a Waffle House at night strapped, and he's like, do you think like I guarantee you because
He
Tim
masturbates at Death Wish.
No, but yeah, Tim definitely in his own mind thinks like, hell yeah, I wish a motherfucker would, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Tim's also the kind of guy who would somehow end up in a situation where somebody who was unarmed ends up with his gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tim gives me that kind of energy where it's like, whoa. So you had a gun. The other guy didn't have a gun, and then he ended up with your gun. How does that happen?
Are you a female police officer?
I just froze. You know what I mean? Like he'd be one of those guys.
Invited to the party.
The best way to sum up Tim Pool's energy is that one video where that guy takes his hat and he goes, "If you do that again, I'm gonna knock your teeth out." No, he did it.
Yeah. You do that. It's the squeak from basketball. You guys,
You do that to me
guys
6 or
rip
7
on me
more times.
like 6 or 7 more times, and I'm out of here.
I was invited to the party. Verbal altercation escalates, and then the dude, you're sitting there, and you pull your sweater back, and you've got a gun. You put your hand up and say, "Don't come close to me, bro. I'm warning you right now."
Yeah. I've hung out with Worski in Miami. We know.
Also,
That's not what happened.
And also, Tim.
So then let's say the guy you're with sneaks a gun into a strip club and can't get a lap dance because of it.
Okay, that never happened.
In Tootsie's.
Also, Tim, what you just described, at least in my state, you would be at least investigated at first for being the aggressor. Because if I'm at a party and I have a gun on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who's that quick to the gun is not going to look good in a court of law. You can't go from like starting yelling, some guy because you have to read people. Some people are just drunk and you're like, "What, man? You want to fucking go?" And I know some drunk who's very flaily. Tim is like, "Yeah, if you pull your gun out immediately, you're in the right."
Hey,
no, you're
pal,
not.
I'm strapped.
I'm gonna point my gun at you. You better not, bro. And it's like, you're now the aggressor. Like,
so he's also advocating that in a high school party where kids get into fights all the time, if a kid punches another kid, the other kid should just stab him.
Yes.
Dude, that's not how fights work. Like, dude, everyone's been in high school, right? Everyone's been bullied or whatever. You can't just take a knife out because of a fucking high school fist fight either, right?
Watch me.
Yeah.
Do not come close. Do not take another step.
Well, Tim is also fucking
Retarded.
he's complaining bullshit. He's saying that fucking the fucking what's his name was warning him. Tim, he didn't fucking have a knife and say, "If you come any closer to me, I'm gonna have to stab you."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Come on, fucking do it again."
Also, do you know who would have probably went to prison if he had immediately pulled a gun out and became a problem? A very unpopular bloke by the name of George Zimmerman.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that saved George Zimmerman was he waited to a point where his head was getting bashed into concrete. He was able to show enough injuries when the police arrived. That's the only thing that saved him, because despite Zimmerman, whatever, everybody can have your opinion of him, he actually did show a level of restraint in that scenario. If Zimmerman walked up to fucking Trayvon Martin with his gun out and had no scratches on him and the kid was dead, that trial would have went a whole different way.
But I'm just thinking of every scenario like this, like in high school, where according to Tim's thing, someone should have just got killed.
Yeah.
Like, that's the mentality he has.
And his mentality is
Tough guy. There's always these people that talk super tough, right? Like, I'm not a guy that talks tough. I never have been. I'm not even a guy that fights. Ask Merce. I don't pick fights with people. I'm not that kind of guy. I'll get in the way and stop people from fighting, but I'm not a violent guy, never been, and I don't talk shit like, "I'm gonna kick your ass." I don't really do any of that shit.
me and Royce are yellers.
Yeah, we yell and
We like
stuff.
adults. We don't
Yeah.
extend anything beyond some yelling.
I'm not gonna do anything that involves a hospital visit. Like, it's stupid. I'm an adult.
You want to go?
No.
You want to go?
No, I don't want to
I'm
go.
in my 40s.
No,
sir.
I don't want to go. I really don't want to go.
I'd rather not.
We're both.
I want to go home.
We're both in our 40s. Even the winter's gonna hurt tomorrow.
That doesn't
Let's
matter.
not.
But it's always these dudes and he fucking LARPs like he's a fucking Call of Duty operator. Shut up, Tim.
also-
Shut the fuck up.
Also, it's so
Fucking
telling.
nerd.
It's so telling how you can tell. Like, he barely probably leaves his little compound at this point, but it's like he's so quick again. Like, I can't get over how quick he is too. In any situation where somebody's being unreasonable and you feel mildly tense, you should draw a firearm immediately to de-escalate things.
Because that usually de-escalates things right away.
Yeah, dude. You
And
pull a
also,
gun
and
because-
by the way, most high school kids should have knives on them when they go track and field meets. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, dude, and they should sit in the other fucking team's dugout. or tent, and they should fucking threaten the other guy with violence in front of his friends because that's what high school is.
It's called
doing.
competitive spirit, Virgie.
Yes, seriously.
The guy grabs your arm.
What did you want? What did you want? His team was the Harlem Switchblades. What did you want him to do?
The Harlem Switchblade.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man. I'm loving
they
this.
used to be
now.
called the Prairie N-words, but that became a problem after the whole Redskins thing.
Yeah.
Well, next time there's a fucking tweaked out, like methed up homeless guy outside 7-Eleven and he's like asking me for money and I feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Do this, but you have to do this too.
I go, hey,
hand out.
And I go, hey, bro, back off. I feel threatened. And then I draw my firearm. And if I get arrested, I'll just tell the Polk County Sheriff's Department. I'm sure they'll understand. No, Tim Pool told me to do it.
Oh, okay. And they'll be like, who?
And makes a move. So you draw your weapon.
JB in chat said the DC Cutters.
That's dude. Tim's giving really bad advice that could potentially harm people. Like Florida, we joke a lot about Florida, Grady Judd. How
there's rules.
If somebody breaks into your house, you can shoot them and all that stuff. But yeah, there's Florida's equally as like ruthless to people who break those rules. Like you start fucking around and doing dumb shit with guns, Florida cracks down on you hard because like you're gonna fuck it up for the rest of us, okay?
And also, says the guy who has armed security guards at his house. This guy, by the way, armed security guard guy, is doing that. He's another one. He's basically like a Doherty kid who talks shit with a fucking security guard or with a bouncer with him. Shut up, Tim. Just shut the fuck up. Honestly, you got caught having a secret meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu and everyone was calling you an Israel shill. So what you said was, I'm going to make everybody forget about that by saying the dumbest take I've ever said. And then what I'm going to do in classic Tim Pool fashion, I'm going to go, ha, look at you. I triggered all of you. I was clearly kidding. I look like a complete and utter retard to troll you.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's just gonna make him more popular.
I know.
More people fucking.
Just
and then he's going to do the typical Tim Pool thing now where he's going to get a bunch of rage donos for like weeks where they're yelling at him about this take. And he's going to ignore all of them so people send him even more.
Yeah, I know. No, I know, man. And I get it. And I understand that like, you have troll or whatever, but it's like even in but if your troll is making you look like a fucking retard, why are you doing it? You know?
Don't come close to me, bro. I'm warning you right now. Do not
come close.
I had to look it up, but y'all remember Michael Draka, right?
No.
Y'all remember him? He was a Florida dude who got convicted of murder. What happened was he was in the parking lot and some dude was like yelling at his wife.
Yes, I remember this. I remember this.
Yes, I do. Okay.
Do you know why he got convicted? Do you know why he got convicted of murder? Because when he got hit in the head and fucking like knocked out on the ground, and then he drew his gun. The dude took one step back and put his hands up a little bit, and then the dude pulled the trigger. That was enough to get convicted of murder in Florida.
Yeah, they don't fucking play, dude.
You should fucking avoid using your gun. It's not a good thing, dude.
Dude,
it's
I remember
never a good thing. Tim.
Someone's doing the Stan Smith quote. Guns are a great tool for keeping things from escalating out of control.
Dude, I remember watching like the interrogation and then like somebody had cut that up with the fucking footage from the security footage from the store and stuff. And he did fuck up. He actually did fuck up immensely because the guy did push him down to the ground. And yeah, when he drew his gun, the black guy was very obviously like, and you could hear him. There was audio. He's like, whoa, okay. Like, and he backed off. And the guy still just drilled him with a few shots. And it was like, you can't do that. You can't. If somebody puts their hands up and goes, okay, I quit. It's just like in video games where you could do that, like Red Dead. And like there's certain games where you can point at a character and they're like, okay. And you're like, do what I say.
And you pull your sweater back and you've got a gun. You put your hand up and say, don't come close to me, bro. I'm warning you right now. Bro. Do not come close. Do not take another step.
I mean,
what you just described as brandishing.
Can I just say something? And I know this is probably I'm gonna give bad advice, but even with a gun, that doesn't scare me because of his voice. Like I know probably he has a gun and it should.
I would probably laugh.
And he'd probably would. Yeah, he has a gun. He'd shoot me if I'd have one on me. That's fine. You're right. All those things are true. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. However, I would still laugh at him. I would have to laugh at him. Be like, really? With a voice like that? Okay.
Then the guy grabs your arm and makes a move, so you draw your weapon.
What is this? What is this? Tim Pool self-defense
make the argument.
now?
You have no right to defend yourself when you're being attacked by a guy. Make the argument. By all means, go ahead and do so. I ain't gonna.
You have a right to defend yourself with a reasonable defense.
Reasonable force.
Yeah, it's called reasonable force.
I swear to God, Tim Pool believes you're allowed to just pull guns on anyone who's larger than you and makes you nervous.
I cannot stand this guy.
Gonna do it. Not. I don't know the circumstances.
I mean, technically in
You can argue
Virginia,
that you're
you
in a place you're not
actually
supposed to
can
be.
pull a
You can argue it's
gun
that
on a
guy's
guy
house.
who's just bigger than you and makes you nervous. That's what that prank case was about. That guy got off on self-defense.
It doesn't matter. A guy can invite you into his. Your neighbor could be like, "Come on over, brother," and then if he gets physical with you, you can defend yourself. And then what? The police are gonna be like, "Well, you were in his house," and it's like, "Yeah, you invited me in."
None of this makes any sense. It has
All of
nothing
you.
to do with
We're on YouTube. I pulled back really
By the way,
hard.
none of this has anything to do with this case. None of it.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Tim Pool for being Tim Pool because it's like being mad at the sun for being bright. I mean, that's what he is. He's retarded, and retards are going to do retarded things.
Yeah, except it's Tim Pool being not so bright. Am I right?
Fucking nailed him. Got him.
Got him.
But what does bother me is this. The people that keep defending this asshole. This guy is a guy that when Mirsha and I went after him, it's a whole bunch. You notice there's a lot less people defending him than there were back in the olden days. We made fun of him. What have you done for the movement? I don't know. Not said that it's okay for a fucking black kid to stab a white kid because he was mad at school. I've done that for whatever your movement is. Fuck you, Tim Pool. Say whatever you want about me, Tim. I was never a fucking Bernie, bro.
Yeah, I didn't like this. I didn't like the take. And you know what? This isn't. It's not very Tim Cool.
It's not. It's very Tim Uncool.
Hey, Royce, I sent you my counter offer for Tim Pool. My counter to his gay I'm pulling my gun strategy. This is all you need.
All right, let me see. Okay. Tim Pool's defense program.
I've noticed in watching some of the tapes on self-defense that a lot of guys like to show defense from awkward positions, say sitting in a chair, having your back turned, whatever. So what I'd like to do is demonstrate a technique which I call defense against a guy in a chair.
Okay, that's
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It's so hilarious. The premise is being that he missed completely the point of what the guy was asking. He's asking for advice if you're in a chair. This is so
Kicks
stupid.
him in the
It's
chest.
stupid on so many levels.
Now, in future tape series,
Also,
I
that was
plan to
just like a
cover
real
similar
chair and a
defenses
real floor. That doesn't look like that felt nice.
against a guy with
I
his
love
back
the 90s Technicolor lights too.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
everything
This
about
video
it.
is just perfect.
turned, a guy with a blindfold, and a guy with a broken leg.
Okay, that's not.
This is funny. That was really good.
Just kicked him Pool in his goddamn chest. Right in his little bird chest.
You just go, hey, bro, I'm gonna do this everywhere I go now. Every time somebody even mildly disagrees.
Please put your
with me.
hand out. It's super important that the hand comes out.
Bro, I feel threatened, and I will use my firearm.
If you cross this pointer, I swear to God, I'll kill you.
People come up to finally somebody has to come up to me in a Publix and go, sir, you have threatened to use your firearm against 4 separate people in this store today.
One of them was the Boar's Head delivery guy, and he said, "Excuse me." Now tell me if this is reasonable or justified. You ready?
You smell like booze.
Now, by the way, he touched her first. You saw that, right?
You smell like booze.
I know, dude. When I first watched this, I know she says you smell like booze, but when I first
smell
watched
like
this,
poo?
I thought you said you smell like poo,
That's
and
what I
I'm just
thought.
like, that is such an old lady racist poo smell. Eh.
Wow, slapping an old lady.
I like how nobody's doing anything.
No, Cholo does in a second.
Oh, does he?
That guy wouldn't be slapping his own grandma.
Hey, okay, come on, fool.
You know what though? But imagine you're at someone's house and they go, "You smell like booze." You could take your gun out and just shoot them.
Okay, but hear me out on this. She's one of the boomers that made this world.
Right.
So-
But the other person is the person who's actively ruining it.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying.
Who did more damage, boomers or the blacks?
Per capita?
I mean,
Boomers.
Well, can I have a counter argument?
Okay.
For you? Okay. This cop was called to a school because of a bomb threat. I just need to set up what this body cam is.
oh, I've fucking seen this.
This cop was a kid called the bomb threat. And of course, now before I hit play, what do you think is procedure when there's a bomb threat in the cop? By the way, the cop, just to help you out here, the cop's not the problem.
Evacuate would be, I would believe.
But even before that.
Bomb threat would be call the police.
Cop shows up and then he does what? He looks around, right?
Oh, yeah, do the perimeter.
Check it out, look
Yeah.
around the school, see if there's for real, because, kids prank or whatever.
Mhm.
Okay. Let me introduce you to the principal of this school.
Starts with an officer heading to Ridgeview Middle School. He waits for another officer to join him before heading inside. A woman at the front desk then tells them they have to wait for security to come get them.
I'm here on official police business.
I get that. I just radio for the essential security.
Security. She got a radio for security. She got to call security.
For what?
I have to wait for him to come in here to pick you up.
If there's a bomb threat, why do you have to wait for security?
Yeah, you don't need to worry about security. And also, he's a cop.
He's above security. The security guy failed the cop exam, and it's super easy because most cops are stupid.
Also, you know what security it probably is? An off-duty retired cop.
Oh, you're...
So why don't you just let
You're
him
right.
make
You're actually
contact
right.
with the...
When the security guy was, "Hey, Steve, I don't know.
Yeah,
why am I here?
I don't know. Yeah, why'd she make... You know you can just do whatever
can do
you
whatever
want.
you want, right?
Yeah.
I just radio for the essential security.
Security.
Just have to wait for him to come in here to pick you up.
Oh, what? You're going to call the police?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what your options... I guess you could call the FBI, but I don't know what the wait time is for that. What's the response time on an FBI call?
To get the Epstein files? I don't know, about 12 years?
Yeah, if 40.
The officer then tries to explain they should have higher authority.
No, he does. In this situation, look, I am not, if anything, we are very critical of police officers. You should see fucking Virgie's prep bag. But, that being said, in this scenario...
If we're recognizing
We are... Come on, man.
jurisdiction, right?
Yeah.
When the cops arrive at a school, you're both extensions of the government.
That's a bomb threat.
Yeah, if now... if
Look,
there was,
if they just showed up and were randomly going through kids' backpacks, I get it.
Imagine a cop who's drunk, smells like booze, is on duty in his uniform, and he's just shaking kids down, going through their bags. I'm sure then you could go, all right, what do we
No,
doing?
you know what I would do? Hey,
bro,
if you...
I'm feeling threatened.
I feel threatened?
Tim Pool says when your police officer has an altercation with you, reach for your firearm and go,
no.
Officer, bro.
Tim Pool says when a police officer has a confrontation, reach for his firearm.
The officer then tries to explain they should have...
I love every time Tim Pool, like every few months, says to just tweet, Civil War. Yeah, what? The fucking Avengers? You nerd? Shut up.
Of higher authority.
Fucking dork.
We have authority over safety and security. Do you understand that?
Yeah, see, like, all right, so you see how, like, I'm a cop, right? I have a badge here. So you're a retarded, glorified babysitter.
Right.
See how that works?
Look, I know we both get paid the same.
The Columbus
I
Police.
have authority over my principal.
No, you don't.
You do not love my principal to me. So she tells me, God, for you guys to wait. You're not
So the principal's telling this person that they're
the first one to go through this.
The officers talked to the woman at the front desk for more than 2 minutes before other
And then the school exploded.
That would be the funniest ending to this video. It's just
school employees joined the conversation.
If there's an emergency here, I don't need to explain to her. I need to get in here and get in here now instead of go through this. What?
Not according to the district rules that they give us.
Wow, this whole school's just run by black women. You're not getting in, bro. Give up. I'd leave. Let the school explode. Because it's black women, you're not winning. You're not going to win. This is insane.
The officer continues to
Look at that one. Where in the world is Shaniqua San Diego?
These teachers and like administrators are just out of control, bro. Even a private business would be like, wait, what? Oh my
bomb?
God.
Get in.
Should we
Go,
tell
go,
our
go, go,
customers
go.
to get out?
Should we
Everyone
evacuate?
can get out.
Yeah.
You know, like they'd be, cops, you guys do whatever you want. Should we get out of your way? I'm getting out of your way. Let me grab my
I'll be
fucking
outside.
phone. Yeah, just,
tell
that's
them
it.
he shouldn't have to wait by a locked door when responding to a threat involving student safety.
So if there
Well,
was like an active shooter, you wouldn't let him in until the principal showed up?
Yeah, I mean.
What if the principal was one of the people that got killed?
Dude, I am the furthest thing from a cop dick.
No, quite the opposite.
Let's you know, a bomb situation is immediately when a cop shows up, you defer to the police and go, yeah, they said there's a bomb. I don't know, man.
It's
I'm
not
outta
even a
here."
real bomb. It's a fake one. They're just doing it so they could get into the reserve in New York underneath in Wall Street. Remember? Like Die Hard 3?
Okay, what if the cop is a T-1000 and you just let him in?
I mean,
then John Connor's dead.
Then you have to have those dogs that could smell if they're not human. Remember that was their counteract to the T-1000?
Oh my God, I forgot. Oh my God, I forgot about
They had dogs that smell. But the later ones, they had dogs that could smell that they weren't
Sniff
humans.
out robots.
Robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, dogs. Robots sniffing dogs.
Yeah, they trained the dogs somehow because they came into contact with enough Terminators and didn't die to train dogs.
Not only that, Virgie, but keep in mind they accidentally killed a bunch of amputees that just had like metal legs too, because the dogs don't know any different. They're just metal.
Jesus, man, they really should have never went past T2, huh?
Yeah, you didn't like you didn't like Terminator 3 Back in the Habit. I'm sorry, that was the best one.
It like really did. When you go back, when was the last time you actually just watched T2?
It's been it's been a while,
but it
probably.
hasn't been like super long.
No.
time.
It was in the last 2 or 3 years.
Bro, when I see him like that movie again every once in a while, I'm just like, bro, they should have. This was it, bro. This was
I agree.
peak fucking for this character and everything. Leave it alone, my man. In my mind, I'm able to very easily shut down later sequels of stuff. Like I'm very good at pretending Game of Thrones didn't happen after season 4.
Oh man, and then a cliffhanger for you. Huh?
It's I don't know. Arya sets sail. Who knows what adventure she's off to do?
How do you think I feel? As far as Lost is concerned, they're still living happily ever after on the island, okay? I stopped watching that shit, too.
Look, Lost got so bad so fast. Royce is like, I don't know. They're still hunting for coconuts in my mind just to get hydration.
What'd you stop watching it? The plane crashed?
Yeah. I like to think they all died.
Yeah. Especially that Hurley guy. Turns out that was a real ending anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Addresses another woman who walks in the room.
That whole 5 seasons was just a minute and a half of one of the passengers while the DMT was releasing into his brain and he was dying. And in that minute and a half, he saw that whole 5 seasons. It was all a dream.
The principal.
You called us. If you don't want me here, and if you want me to beg you to get through that door, don't call me now.
The woman believed to be Principal Natalie James then tells him they're following district protocols. She adds, police were called because a student made a threat, but he was, quote, just playing. And
Then why did you call the police?
Man, but he was just playing.
Then why'd you call the police? They're protecting a student.
Yeah.
Here's what's happening. A student did something that was bad, probably made a threat. The teacher called the police because she heard the threat. The principal probably knows his unk or some shit, and now is protecting the kid because she doesn't want the kid to go to jail. And that kid, Carmelo Anthony.
See, he's got enough legal cases going on right now. He's got enough beefs, as they
End
call
quote.
We've been told from our district is that the police don't
Table's ready.
just can't just go all over the building and do
stupid
whatever
buzz.
you want to do.
The confrontation inside the school lasts more than 10 minutes. The principal tells the officer she does not feel safe or comfortable. The officers are then handed paperwork before leaving without making contact with the student involved. The Fraternal Order of Police says this behavior from the principal is unacceptable.
She's protecting a kid for some reason. I'm telling you, that to me is the only thing. But you know what would happen, Mersh? If I was all fucking where are they? Where I put them? There you go. If I was all stressed out, you know what I would
obviously
get?
are.
I know. You know what I
can't
need? I need to take a break because I'm about to go hit one of my weed cigs. Guys, they're our new fucking sponsor. These guys rule. And I'm saying this that Mersh and I have already gone through quite a few of these. If you head to weedcigs.com.
I was smoking these the last couple nights on Nightwave. I've been hinting that we had a new sponsor coming, and I've been smoking those on Nightwave. So this is what I've been smoking on.
Correct. And if you go to weedcigs.com right now, you're going to get, but just to explain what this is, by the way, because I really want to break it down.
Let me guess, too, because we have a lot of sponsors. They like to give us like the little codes.
I got some
you
stuff.
Take a little code and we'll take like 5% off. Want to take 10% off.
This
What are
is
these
great.
guys giving us? Like 10% off, 20%?
Okay,
20%
check
off?
this. This is even better, Mersh. First off, let me tell you, you're going to get 16 grams of flour in each pack, so that's 20 of these. Okay. Nice. Not only that, it's pretty. It's actually very good. Okay. It is a hybrid. It is let me see. Let me see specifically which strain it was here because I did.
It was gas something
yes,
that you had.
it was gas face. Yes.
Gas face.
Gas face. Yes, which is a mix of biscotti and I forget what the other one is.
Something sherbet.
Yeah, sherbet and biscotti is what the mix is of this strain
It's
right
also
here.
a very bad song by Third Base.
There's no such thing as a bad song by Third Base. There's THCA in this, which is legal thanks to by the way, did you know in 2018 the farm bill that Trump signed actually made the THCA legal, which by the way, out of all of them, I think THCA is the one that is the closest to weed. It smells.
The THCA,
like weed.
the THCA has come out and basically completely annihilated the Delta 8, Delta 9.
So Delta 8 is a synthetic thing, and like well, you know what I mean. HHC is the synthetic one, but Delta 8 is the it's just it's like an alternative. It's like a different kind of cannabinoid. THCA is really what's in, like when you smoke diamonds, those are mostly THCA.
Right. So
it's functional.
And by the way, to get back up,
I feel like these two are like Charlie and the fucking. They're getting way down in the berries.
But there are a lot of weed nerds, and these two are both weed nerds, so they're gonna know. Check this out. You get 16 grams of flour in each pack. Okay, weedcigs.com, by the way, with an S, weedcigs.com. And it comes with 20 of these, and they're like just like cigarettes. I mean, and they burn really well. In the mornings when I go for my walk now, I just take one with me, smoke that bad boy as I walk. And for 20 basically 20 pre-roll joints of pretty good weed, normally it's $50 for a pack. But if you use promo code ROTC, you're going to get 50% off.
All right,
$25.
Wait.
Yeah, 50%.
16 grams?
Yeah.
50% off.
16 grams.
That's
50%
2
off.
grams extra on top of half an ounce for that price. You can't go wrong.
Good. And by the way, I've been smoking them in the morning. They're bucking for wake and bake with coffee, sitting outside. Nothing's better. And it really is shaped and even as a filter like a cigarette too. It's really cool. Weedcigs.com, promo code ROTC. And they're not a company that's just throwing their shit around. Like we talked to the owner. Not only that, they're only advertising on Daywave, Nightwave, ROTC, and Adonis Paul. That's it. And you know all of us. And you know if we're doing it, it's because we've tried it and we like it. Weedcigs.com, promo code ROTC. And as it says right on the pack, it is federally legal. So you can walk around, and these are great. I don't know how you are too, Mersh, when you're walking around with joints in your pocket. You're like, I'm going to fucking crush them or whatever. You have to one of those tubes. It's nice to have this in your pocket with 20 joints in your pocket. Or if you go on a trip, just throw this in your fucking bag.
I'm old school. I like the soft packs.
Oh, yeah, you do?
I like my cigarettes to get crushed when you sit down at a bar.
Yeah, you want them to break.
Listen, what he's saying is Weed Cigs, all right, is our new sponsor. Next time anxiety is getting to you, you go out, you go, hey,
like this.
bro, And then you reach for your weed cigs.
You wait for him and you go, hey, have one of these. But you reach for it violently. Be like, have one of these.
Yeah, but when you move too fast, you realize it's too late. You've been shot by Tim Pool. Because he got nervous.
But on the upside, you died with 25 more bucks than you expected because you used promo code ROTC at weedcigs.com. That's how you do a good live read. That's how you do it.
I liked it.
And if you want to help our show, if you really want to help our show, revengeofthesis.locals.com or patreon.com/we're not sorry. It's $7 a month. You get every Wednesday show, the second half of every Friday show, and all of our movie risks. And you help us keep doing the show, which obviously is the most important thing.
We give you too much.
We do give you too much, guys. Now I'm going to go enjoy a weed cig from weedcigs.com, which I got for free, but you get for 50% off. We'll be right back.
You guys are ruining Thanksgiving. And it's my second favorite holiday, right after Pretend Not to Notice People's Race Day. Hey, you seen Reggie around?
Which one is Reggie?
Oh, well, today he's wearing yellow pants, yellow shirt, yellow hat, yellow shoes. He's got a gold tooth, diamond earring. He's got that big necklace with a dollar sign on it. He's always grabbing his crotch when he's telling a story, like the one about when he found out his mother is really his grandmother.
Could you be more specific?
Let's see. He always wears cheap cologne, drives a Mercury Cougar with a crown on the dashboard, never pays his alimony. He's extremely cut for a guy who never works out. Oh, there he is. Thanks anyway. Hey, Reggie!
Second hour.
See, Reggie's black.
ROTC.
That's the joke.
Thank you for being here. Guys, actually, the last 40 minutes of the show, we went a little over the first hour. Let me read some of these donations, because I know we got a couple that came in. Tom Rose Mercedes, hey, Democrats, good job on never being able to use taxing corporations doesn't raise prices line ever again. Scoop says, Dear Supervising Manager Tony, please understand that the cursing and jokes we make on this show are made in jest from your friends at ROTC. Who? Tony. Who's Tony?
Or Hack the Movies, Tony?
No. It has to be someone we respect. Who can it be? It's not Tony Baloney. I don't know. All right. This is not a slopper, but this may be a slopper in training. Okay.
Are you kidding me? This might be a slopper final boss.
Okay. This is huge. Literally.
This is
a Sheen Hall.
Roman numeral 7.
By the way, I know it's like hearts, but really it just looks like the cow, like a cow's print.
Yeah.
Probably not a great look.
Look, it's not just that she's fat, because she's fat.
What?
But she's like 5'1". Like she is shaped like a box.
If this world were
You mean can't see her foot run?
Roman numeral 7, babe, drop it like it's hot.
Bro, can we all agree one of the best things about the tariffs on China is that Shein products are now going to be so much more expensive for these fat
Good.
Oh, God, yes.
If this world was mine, I'd take your dreams and make
That's her on her scooter.
them multiply. If this world was mine, I'd take it.
Oh my God.
Look at her next to a normal person for scale.
Well, normal.
Well,
built normal.
Normal sized. How's that?
Enemies in front of God, introduce them to that light. Hit them strictly with that fire.
Bro, how much you think she weighs? Keep in mind she's 5'2". How much you think she weighs?
300.
More. Gotta be more than 3.
No, I was going to say 360.
360? I think 400.
You think so?
Yeah, she's at 4.
Hey, Roman.
Look at her fat. Her fat is escaping on her forehead. Like when the fat starts escaping in your forehead, that's a problem, you know? And then I got another one for you. Now, listen, I know you think America, but you know, every time you talk to people in Europe, in UK, like you Americans are all fat. Hey guys, guess what? You're catching up. Apparently, having 500 billion carbs for breakfast isn't good for you. Check this one out. Here's 5 places I'm not going in 2025.
Here are 5 places that I'm not going to in 2025. The weighing scales.
The gym.
The Diet Island supermarkets.
Oh, I was kidding.
A Weight Watchers group. High street shops that are not size inclusive.
How is a shop not size inclusive? What does that even mean? How can
I guess the product like sizes that are available.
And exercise.
That makes sense. If you're a fatty, you probably shouldn't shop at a store that doesn't have stuff for fatties. They're not going to know.
Yeah, that's what she's. Yeah,
they're not going to know you're not there.
Yeah.
Not size inclusive. And exercise classes with fat-phobic instructors.
Isn't the whole point of exercise fat phobia?
Yes, to being afraid of getting fat, yes.
It's like, yeah, it's the whole point.
You know, I remember growing up, there was a lot of like, and I think...
But the idea of being fat, ironically enough, never comes up in a gym or in any of these fitness classes. Because even the instructors understand, if you're a fat fuck, but you're coming in every you're 2 nights a week for your class, and they see you at the gym regularly. There's nobody coming up to you going like, "Yo, fat, you got to
No, other way around.
They don't make you think about that. They go, "Oh, they're showing up.
They're here.
They're gonna be fine." So they basically just tell you, "Hey, good job." I don't know of any fitness-based
Quite
people
the
that are like
opposite.
fat.
They
I'm
motivate
obsessed
them.
with fat. It's like, oh shit, you've been here like 5 days this week, man. Yeah, keep going.
Keep
bro.
it up, dude.
That's all they do. What are you talking? It's all in your mind.
Well, to be fair, her mind's filled with fat, so she
But
can't
it's-
think.
Whether it's the trans community, the body positive community, all these communities, it's these people that are self-hating, and then everywhere they go, they're looking around and think they're reading minds when they're really just, they have all this internalized hate, and then they just look at you online at a 7-Eleven and they're like, I bet they're making fun of me right now in their mind. I bet they're thinking, what a fat piece of shit.
And I
What a
am, but I'm
fat
not going to
fuck."
say it out loud.
Exactly, but it's like, it's insane, these people.
But remember growing up, Mersh, like, and I'm sure you remember this, like, we were bombarded with, like, the mainstream media and press and everything.
The
we would see.
lamestream media.
But we were bombarded with them saying things like, you know, these Maxim magazines and FA, they set unrealistic expectations for women. And then these women do on these diets and they get sick. But now we have the opposite of that. That doesn't exist anymore. Now what we have is these fat women saying it's okay to be super fat and unhealthy. And that is way more dangerous than fucking girls trying to look like Avril Lavigne. When you know what I mean? Like,
Remember when people were saying Jessica Simpson was fat?
Yeah.
Man, those were the days, huh?
Bro.
Remember when that was as fat? Remember when Christina Aguilera, Kelly Clarkson, and Jessica Simpson was as fat as you got?
That's it.
That was as fat as women were allowed to get. And they would
size
get
10. If you were a size 10.
and they would get shamed, and they all came back around.
Bro,
even Kelly.
Perez Hilton made a career shaming them and drawing penises on them.
The penis drawing was kind of.
It was funny.
That was a good bit.
Of course, it's always funny. Let's go back to the OGs.
Have you been dying
Yes.
to ride Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure at Disney's California
But
Adventure?
you were afraid
but you weren't
Spider-Man's
sure if you'd
web
fit?
couldn't
Hey
hold you?
everyone, we're plus-size park hoppers. We range in sizes from 2X to 5X. Make sure you like this video and follow us for more plus-size Disney tips and tricks.
We
Web
can't.
Slingers is an action-packed dark ride where you use your very
Oh,
own
Royce,
hands.
did you tell Mersh your most recent block on Instagram that we found out today?
I'm getting into that. I have it.
Okay.
I will get to it. I
Okay.
promise. I promise.
Okay.
Make sure you like this video and follow us for more plus-size Disney tips and tricks. Web Slingers is an action-packed dark ride where you use your very own hands to stop the spiders and save Avengers Campus. It's along the lines of Toy Story Mania or the Buzz Lightyear ride, except your hands are the game controllers. The queue for this ride is super cool and detailed, and the little spider robots are adorable. This is a 3D ride,
So, you know, first off, everything with using like 7D, okay? Which is probably your bra size, you fat bitch.
Space and time is warping around you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You will
it's a
get a pair of
3D ride
glasses-
for you, but for everyone else, it's 4D because there's smell.
Oh.
while you're in the queue. The pre-show includes a visit from the Peter Parker, but don't get confused, you're the hero this time. The ride vehicle here is a web slinger vehicle. There is a very slight step
Oh
up
my
to get
God.
It's a step up! There's a step up. Did you know there was? I mean, how do they live? There's a step up, dude.
How did you get? How did what's her face get the cart in there?
Well, not well.
vehicle has 2 rows back to back that can sit 4 people each. Each seat is divided by a small lip, but we did not have any problems with them. The safety mechanism here is a
So wait a second. Small lips might also be a problem too, right? Okay, cool. I'm just trying to keep up with their obstacles, what their new obstacles are.
It's. I mean, it's they're numerous. They're
Shared lap bar-
numerous.
Yeah.
Or that
You see,
does
they're
not
used to a fat pair of lips.
So let me tell you this. This is funny. Let me explain something about these bars, right?
4 people each. Each seat is divided by a small lip, but we did not have any problems with them. The safety
this out.
mechanism here is a shared lap bar that
So shared lap bar. Here's the problem with shared lap bars when you're going on with really fat people, right? And I've seen this happen. Like the Spider-Man ride in Universal has this.
You're in danger.
Yes, because what happens is the lap bar only goes as far as the fattest person.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a really fat mom with their kid does not have a lap bar. So they're getting flung around in there because the fattest person is preventing the other people from having safety. You're a literal safety concern.
You're killing people.
You're a safety concern.
does not need to get to a certain position to lock. If you use a wheelchair, you have the option to
Let me try. Can I see some? I'm sorry. At that point, something I have to go back.
but we did not have any
The
problems
fattest
with them.
one
The safety mechanism
is
here
so
is a
fat.
shared lap bar that does
How
not
fat
need to
is
get to a
she?
certain position.
She's so fat that even the other fat one's stomach is way away from the bar.
That's pretty. This isn't like one of those scary rides, though, right? Like
if you're on it with them, it is.
Well, but I'm saying this is one of those.
They
like-
nervous fart because they were thirsty for ice cream earlier, and one's lactose.
What I'm saying is, this is one of those rides. If you're not strapped down, you're not going like way up in the air, and you're not doing like fucking huge like upside down.
You know what?
moments.
You know which one? But you know which also has a shared lap start? Thunder Mountain. They ride that.
If you use a wheelchair, you have the option to transfer, or there is a wheelchair
Wait, there's a
accessible
ride
vehicle
named after their thighs?
Yeah.
where you can stay in your wheelchair. All of us
You should see Gash Mountain.
sizes 2X through 5X are able to ride this comfortably. But we were not prepared for how much of an arm workout this was.
Riding a ride
workout,
for children is what you could sitting in a car.
Oh my God, Royce! It's because it's interactive, and they had to lift their arms to do the web hands, and just lifting their arms was fucking.
That's cardio for you, isn't it? Clapping.
Comfortably. But we were not prepared for how much of an arm workout this was. My arm
Oh my God, they get exhausted giving a blowjob. They're not even good at sex. Like even if they fat chicks fuck better. Not when you get to a certain size, they're not capable of it.
arms are burning just watching this back. We hope that these tips help and that you enjoy saving Avengers Campus.
I think they would prefer you weren't in their campus. Okay, they have limited amount of room. Tony Stark has a lot of fucking Iron Man suits.
I have.
And okay, so this came up, and I thought it was funny, which was, you've been pretty quiet. What's on your mind?
I have often wondered how fruit by the foot is marketed in countries that do not use the imperial system, because after all, a significant amount of that product's appeal is derived from its alliterative name. I mean, they certainly can't call it fruit by the meter because that does not make any sense.
Well, it would also be 3 times as big.
Or perhaps they simply changed the name to something.
You could have Googled this and I made an Instagram video, James.
Entirely different, or perhaps they do not market it at all in countries that do not use the imperial.
So I went to go check his Instagram today on Daywave, Mersh, because, I check out his Instagram sometimes for fun. He blocked me. And this is one where I've never actually commented anything bad on. I've commented, but it's never been like, fuck you, or made fun of him. It's just been like me going, I think you're wrong. Like, stuff like that, like dumb shit. Blocked. I went to go look, and I was like, I can't find him. Where is he? But his account was there. He just blocked me. So now you are the bad guy, James, and you only get that if you're a Locals member. You only get that reference.
I love when I realize I'm blocked by somebody, and I'm like, I barely even.
I didn't do anything
Yeah.
to you. You're weak, James. You're weak.
And trust me, he knows because he's been awful to people.
Yeah.
So he knows when he's doing it.
Yeah, I wasn't. Okay.
Like I've seen Royce many times go, yeah, this person blocked me, but Royce would be like, yeah, but I mean, it was gonna happen. That was coming. I deserve that one.
I called him an F slur, so that was on me, really, honestly. Okay, Mersh, these are the telltale signs your partner's gaslighting you.
Sometimes it can be hard to know what exactly is going wrong with your marriage or your relationship.
Actually, no, it's not. You're just stupid.
Yeah.
That's an example of gaslighting.
Actually, I think everything's going great in our marriage. I think a lot of people would agree maybe something's wrong with you.
Yeah. Is there something wrong going on with you? I'm really good at gaslighting. It's not that difficult. Here's another one. When they
Especially
accuse you,
doing it to women.
If a woman says you're gaslighting, go, gaslighting isn't real. You're just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is going wrong with your marriage or your relationship? Or you might be feeling like you're not really yourself, but you find it.
And then it gets really personal. And then your wife, she starts getting mad at you because you leave the toilet seat up and you're like, look, I work hard every day. Got to be there at 3 a.m. to do this fucking news show with a white bitch. Hypothetical stuff like that.
Hard to put exactly why, and your partner and your spouse not really helping you out.
Maybe you're in an abusive relationship.
This guy reminds me of the gay guy from Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah, Titus.
Titus, yeah.
With someone
Outside
who's
bones, outside bones. I don't know why I randomly pulled that clip up because it was stuck in my head, and it was one of those where it's like I hear it all the time, but I had to see it.
It's so funny.
And I just
5,
love that he's
6,
like
7, 8.
sweating and he's so panicky.
gaslighting or isolating you. Those types of behaviors are not that common, but they do happen. And when they do,
They're not that common, meaning that all these women that are accusing you of gaslighting are lying.
They're gaslighting.
You're gaslighting us. And by the way, women, statistically speaking, all of you couldn't have been with a narcissist. There aren't enough narcissists for every one of your exes to be one.
And I don't think you all dated the same one guy.
Yeah.
important to be aware
The only people that could say that are people that have dated Pete Davidson.
Yes.
of what is actually going on. So here to explain how to recognize the behaviors, Dr. Kirsten Linseal. Hey, good
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not going to listen to her.
Are you sure?
Not trans James May, not
morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Are you? Because you look miserable. Because you really just not a good looking one.
Yeah, but I think miserable's probably her baseline.
Let's start. I want to separate these two
Sure.
because they're both really important.
Let's
Sometimes they can
unpack this.
be together, but isolating. Talk about what that looks like.
So isolating is.
Well, I'll tell you. Here, come here. Let me talk to you. Hey, can you leave the room for a second? So isolate.
When in a relationship, when
I got to hear this. I got to hear Dr. Kristen Linseal.
one person is saying to the other person, like, sort of, it can often start sort of gently with little digs, like, I don't really love going over to your sister's, or do we have to have.
Hold on.
But that's
But hear me out.
But is that not just expressing an opinion?
What if your sister's a bitch? What if her sister's a bitch?
Have you not, at least once in your life, either received or given like that exact expression to somebody you're dating, where you're like, oh, I hate going over, and it may not even be that you hate the brother. You may just be like, I hate driving all the way to your fucking brother's house or whatever it is. So now we're not allowed to express ourselves to the other person at all.
Why do we keep going over to his house? All you do is fight. Like, I mean, I'll go if you want.
Have Thanksgiving with your mom again, or I don't want to go to the movies with your kids, whatever it is.
I don't want to drive an hour and a half to go see your brother. He's a Jehovah's Witness. He's not even allowed to have beer in his fridge.
Yeah.
Do you know how miserable that
We're
day
the
is?
only ones celebrating his birthday. You know how weird that is?
Have Thanksgiving
He's
with your
throwing
mom.
himself a party and insisting we come. He's 40.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. He's throwing himself a surprise party, which is the weirdest thing.
We have to have Thanksgiving with your mom
fuck.
again, or
That's
I
like
don't want
giving
to
yourself a nickname. You can't do that. That's not allowed.
Sting did.
go to the movies with your
Which
kids,
one?
Both.
Well, actually, one gave himself the nickname. The other one
Stole
stole it
that
from
guy's
the guys.
nickname, yeah.
Whatever it is.
I can't believe that musician stole that wrestler's name. That's bullshit.
What a dick, bro.
Yeah.
Other person, like, sort of, it can often start sort of gently with little digs, like, I don't really love going over to your sister's, or do we have to have Thanksgiving with your mom again?
That's not a dig. That's literally.
That seems kind, actually.
It sounds like you're making plans for Thanksgiving.
Or, I don't want to go to the movies with your kids, whatever.
Your kids? That's weird.
It is.
Yeah, that was
Or
a weird thing to even like naturally go to.
What a weird thing. What a weird thing to say, right?
Don't like these friends of yours. What can happen is eventually.
What if her friends are Hell's Angels?
Seriously, like you know. What
I mean, at what point are you allowed to make a comment where you're not gaslighting?
When I
'Cause it
met her,
seems like-
she was a doctor, but now she's hanging around with bikers. It
Yeah.
looks like Sons of Anarchy on the weekends at my house.
Because you're with this person is your partner, right? This person is your person, and you can start to.
Person is your person?
I think. All right, so Royce, I'm just spitballing here. I think this woman's crazy.
Oh, I could tell. She's a therapist. They're all crazy.
But she's one of those crazy doctors.
Why do all therapists see therapists?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of suddenly realize that you're not really spending time with other people in your life. So what that means is that the social supports that you previously had are kind of falling away.
What about gaslighting?
Yeah. So gaslighting, gaslighting is a term that comes from this 40s movie about a man who married a rich woman and tried to make her think she was crazy so he could put her in an insane asylum.
Okay, but what if she's hysterical, prone, fancy? Did you think about that? Mm-hmm. All right, sometimes when women get pregnant, they get crazy in their brain and you have to take their teeth out. I mean, this is just science, and you have to trust 50 science.
You have to trust all of the science from all of the eras.
That's why I still use leeches.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what you think. It's sexual.
It was the science in Egypt. Some people, they would have a headache, and in Africa, they would drill a hole in your skull to let the
demons out. Yeah. That's science.
Science.
Time.
I agree, Mersh. A trepanated wife is a calm wife.
Oh, can you say happy house, happy spouse instead? It's more gender normative.
Oh, God.
at all her money, and how he did this was by either making the gas lights in the house brighter or dimmer, and she would say they're brighter, and he would say no, they're not, right? So
yeah, I seen the episode of fucking Next Generation when they told Picard there were 5 lights and there was really 4. I've seen it, dude. I know how this works. Okay, I watched the Next Generation.
We get it. Those writers were very unoriginal.
They were. They just took the gaslighting story.
And then sometimes they'd get so lazy, they'd go, hey, you want to just do a holodeck episode and we'll literally just steal a Sherlock Holmes novel?
I was about to say Sherlock
Word
Holmes.
for
Steal
word.
one word for, yeah.
We can say it's an homage. They'll let us.
right there. So that is the crux of gaslighting. It's not just lying. Lying, okay, like some lies are okay, like,
Oh, what kind of therapist is this?
do these pants make me look fat, right?
Be honest. I am honest. I will not gaslight her by saying they look good. I will refuse to gaslight you. I'll be like, yes, those pants make you look fat.
I would go, absolutely not. Your fat makes you look fat.
Mm-hmm. And then go on the love handles.
No, absolutely not. The pants don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
They're just pants.
Those pants didn't used to make you look fat.
Holy shit.
Oh, that hurt.
That would fucking.
Wow. I get that's bad.
Dude. Yeah, that would end a relationship.
Yeah.
That
You
comment.
didn't use.
You might be like, no, you look great.
Yeah.
But gaslighting has a particular.
Okay, so a female therapist is telling you lying to somebody to make them feel good is fine. As long as you're lying to someone and encouraging their bad behaviors, as long as it makes them feel good inside, it's fine.
Are you guys seeing how LA comedy works now on the podcasting
Yeah.
scene? It's because of people like this.
Yep.
It's okay to tell Bert Kreischer he's funny.
Not on my watch.
Malevolent tone to it, meaning that you
Also a tone. It's your tone.
are actually really trying. This person is trying to make you believe that your reality is not actually reality.
Give us an example of that maybe something you've seen in your practice.
Yeah. So, well.
So okay, so this guy, his name is John Smith.
She has all his
He
info.
lives on, yeah.
She starts doxing a client.
Here's something that I see a lot, which not a lot, but when I see gaslighting,
Not a lot, but a lot. You're gaslighting me right now, ma'am.
Yeah, you're all over the place.
what happens is that one person will sort of get upset, have sort of get.
That's bullshit. Who does that? Oh, fucking kill him.
To an argument with their partner, and the other person will just completely.
Okay, but hear me out. What if she's on a period?
Yeah, sometimes these broads when they're
You're
on
on
the
the period, dude. There's blood coming out of both sides. You know what I mean?
Dismiss it, and not only dismiss it, sort of give all these reasons why that is a completely unimportant and sort of useless.
I mean, I get that, but like Roy said, what if I'm in a scenario like where her cunt's bleeding and she's being a fucking bitch?
Uh-huh. I'll tell you one thing those Orthodox Jews had right. You stick them in a room for a week. Mm-hmm. Make them feel sad about it.
That's it. Yeah, and only have sex with them through a sheet.
Yeah,
with a hole in it.
Make them feel sad about it.
Thing to worry.
What I do is, I'd be like, you know why you're having your period? God's punishing you and all women.
Worry about, and then it also can really show up when people.
Here's another one. Did those pants shrink in the dryer?
Oh God, that's a mean one.
They're a little tighter.
Complain about their spouse, right?
Okay.
Like,
Or if you really want to gaslight them, you buy their exact brand of pants. Okay, one size smaller. Swap the labels.
That's brutal.
Now that's gaslighting.
That would be actually brilliant.
That's also narcissism. That's all of it. Then you could say that I'm that guy.
That is brilliant.
Yeah.
You're like, I wish.
Psychotic.
Yeah. That's why you're taking notes.
I absolutely am. I absolutely am.
Wish you wouldn't do da da da. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think you're exaggerating. Are you sure you're not?
What if they are? Okay, look, I'm not trying to sound like a gaslighter because that's the problem with being with saying everything's gaslighting. Anything you do now is gaslighting. But
Are
I'm
you
going to say this.
gaslighting me?
What if you are exaggerating? What if like she stubs her toe? She goes, "I'm literally gonna die." Am I allowed to go? You're exaggerating a little bit. Is that gaslighting her, or do we have to see all this gaslighting talk? That might have been a 1940s movie, just came back now. It's just to excuse bad behavior. It's because people don't want accountability. Women specifically don't want accountability. So the way they don't have to deal with it is anytime you say, "Hey, you're pissing me off," they go, "You're gaslighting me." Don't say I have to be accountable for my bad behavior.
Keep in mind, you're basing all this anger on what this woman's saying, and I'd like to remind you that it's all retarded anyway, and you're just getting riled up at her for nothing.
She gaslighted me.
This can't.
She
She
gaslit
gaslit
me.
you. This conversation started with, so name some like, important examples of like gaslighting and abuse. And she started with, well, sometimes you might say, I'm really tired from work this week. Can we go visit your parents next weekend? I'm kind of tired. And like when a guy says something like that, that's abuse.
Yeah.
That's gaslighting.
That's a gaslighting.
She started with like
the most basic
reasonable thing ever. It wasn't like, honey, I think your brother's a pedophile, and I don't want to be around him anymore. That would be gaslighting. And then what?
How can he be? He was the spokesperson for Subway for many years. How's that even possible?
It's just like, what do you mean? And you're like, no, I mean, like one time, like when we were taking, my niece and nephew to the park, like, I don't know, man. It was just like a vibe. Like, I can't really describe it. We were at the park. It was just a vibe. I don't even want to get it. That would be gaslighting, not going, I'm not really a big fan of your brother sometimes. That's just being honest in a relationship.
He knows my name and he calls me champ. Like, that's on him, honestly.
We've been together for 11 years. He still calls me chief in sport.
Yeah. I make more money than him. Why is he talking down to me still? Stop gaslighting me. Why are you bullying me?
Listen, I know we were having a fun time the other night at the Christmas party, but I think I was a little too eggnogged up, and then he called me a faggot.
Yeah, and what am I supposed to do with that?
And I just thought that was kind of rude. And she's like, why are you gaslighting me? Like, all right, you know what?
And you're like, yeah, I was kind of making out with a guy because I was drunk, but I mean, that's bullshit that he said that. Oh, this is great. I think I love this woman.
Imagining things.
Well, what do you do? What do you do in situations like that? How do you handle it?
Yeah. So well,
You reach for your firearm, right? You can chant how you go, bro. I'm feeling gaslit. And I will not hesitate to use my firearm.
That's still better advice than she's giving.
It's fucking retarded.
Oh, sorry.
What we'll do is I will say, here's what I'm hearing and here's what I'm seeing. I'll be like, my experience of you is that you're actually really making sense here. Can you see that there might be another way of...
experience of you? How about reality?
Yeah, the other side of it is like now you're saying like, well, you're my paying customer, so I'm going to take your side now. But you're not hearing his side of the story. Like anybody that ever takes like just one side of the story without hearing the other one, it's like, no, I want to hear what the other person has to say. Let me at least make up my mind,
No, because he's going to gaslight you.
Of looking at things here, or I see two different versions of reality, which actually, to be fair, in any couple, we each have our own version.
You want to see the dumbest? There's only one comment on this video. You want to see what it is? Sounds like the Trump regime. What does that even mean?
What is that? What? Huh?
The reality, the important piece is that each person acknowledges that. We may disagree, but if we say, yes, we understand that your reality may be yours, instead of saying, no, my reality is the only reality.
And there's only one reality. That's the thing. We're leaning into this my truth. I told you earlier, it's that my truth thing. No, there's one reality. There's one objective. There's one reality.
They're making us crazy on purpose.
Yeah, I know. They're gaslighting us.
Any validation.
We're being gaslit.
Dude, that's wild.
My ex-therapist was a narcissist. Let's start calling therapist narcissist every time you leave. Just say that.
Might as well. They
exactly
are.
Right. And the thing about gaslighting, it actually can happen at like a lot of different levels, right?
Depending on how much my clients are paying me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it happened in business.
No. Your boss is gaslighting you.
No, he's your boss. He's in charge. So you don't get to go, no, actually, he's paying you. Do what he says. Doesn't happen in business. He's your manager.
Fine. When I sold it to you, it was la la la. It can happen in politics. It can happen societally, right?
Politics.
Like these things happen. But of course, what we're talking about here is the relationship piece. And the important part is if you are starting to feel like a little sense of unreality, because that's what happens. People sometimes will say to me, am I
crazy? Is this real life? Am I in my hammock?
Am I in my hammock?
Am I crazy?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Am I crazy? Right. And so when you start, then
yes, say yes.
That's when you need to listen to your family and friends, and
Don't ever say yes, you're crazy, because then they're going to think you're fighting with them. Let me tell you another gaslighting technique. Am I crazy? What's crazy? Just say that.
Oh no.
And listen to what they're telling you, and also.
No, here's another one. Am I crazy? I mean, would you consider your mother crazy?
Yeah, oh, am I crazy? Not according to the ATF forms.
So if you're hearing from.
I also don't smoke weed. Which is fine if you have one of these weed cigs, by the way, because they're federally legal because of Trump's 2018
Federally
Farm Bill.
legal product.
Promo code RTC gets you 50% off.
Your family and friends, we haven't seen you in a really long time. We're wondering how you are. We have some concerns about your relationship. Try not to get defensive. Try to really listen to what they're telling you.
No. This is therapist's job, right? Tell the woman she's right, and for the guy to be a subservient beta. Like, that's what they want. They want the guy to be like, you're right, babe. You're right, babe. Your brother's actually cool, even though he tried to fist fight me last Halloween. He's still cool. What?
Because it is really important to.
He's kept calling himself the White Power Ranger and tiling Hitler.
White Power Ranger.
Yeah. It was weird. And he looked nothing like Tommy.
Be able to sort of hang on to our own realities, right? So
sense of self, essentially.
Sense of self, exactly. And if it's really bad, reaching out for professional help.
Me, for example, I'll charge you to tell you that you're good. Tell me I'm good. Tell me I'm good.
Everybody in your life is gaslighting you, and to just shut them all out.
Yeah.
You know when it's really bad.
Yeah.
So what I do is I isolate them and tell them I'm the only one who tells them the
Yes.
truth, and I'm the only one who can help them.
And then they keep giving me money.
I would say when you feel like no matter what you do in the relationship, you can't do anything right, and you can't ever get to a place where.
Have you tried doing something right?
Right. No, seriously. Have you tried not sucking? Because that'll probably help out this relationship if you stop sucking.
Imagine somebody says that to you, like not even in a relationship, just like somebody you care about, and they're like, hey man, what's the matter? And they're talking to me, and they're like, sometimes I just feel like I can't do anything right, and you're like, have you tried doing something right?
Or I feel like I can't do anything right. Yeah, I get that.
I mean, not me personally,
But you, I could see.
Yeah, like me personally, I get everything right, but I
Where
feel.
the two of you agree on something that's happened. I mean, that's when I see really bad cases of it. That's what it is. There's literally this ongoing disagreement.
You know how many divorces have happened because this bitch gaslit somebody into saying her husband was gaslighting her
Of
because he
course.
said you're gaining a little bit weight?
About the reality of any given situation.
I love this final note you have. People who love you won't separate you from other friends and family or try to control you by making you think that you are crazy.
Yes.
But what if you are?
Yeah, what if you're
an obese mom type?
What if you're just a little crazy?
No one will ever get Baker acted. You were just getting gaslit. Fucking stupid therapist.
Gaslighting is another term that's lost all meaning. The way Karen's lost all meaning. By the way, body cams, you don't have to add the word Karen for every title. Most of the women in these body
there's
cams
one
are not
called
Karens.
Karen Cam.
Yeah, and it's not Karens.
No, I know.
It's not just people just being obnoxious is not a Karen. Karen is a very specific, like, I'm calling the HOA because I don't like wanting the color of your fence.
Did you see what fucking Weezer's bassist girlfriend?
Yes.
That breaking news. We have new information on the woman shot by Los Angeles police following a hit and run on a freeway in the Eagle Rock. I'm David Ona.
Vito quote tweeted me when I posted about this. I said, the bassist from Weezer's wife got involved in a police shooting. Say it ain't so.
Sounds like their love was a heartbreaker.
That breaking news. We have new information on the woman shot by Los Angeles police.
Oh, I would have thought it was in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
She was high on hash.
Yeah.
Following
You think she destroyed his sweater?
hit and run on a
Whoa.
freeway in the Eagle Rock.
So
I'm
this
David
is a
Ona.
funny story, though, because there was like a police chase that ended near her house that had nothing to do with her. And they were chasing a suspect through the neighborhood who was involved in the police chase in like a stolen car. And then she just came out with a gun and just started raising hell with the cops for no reason. It was pretty
News, we-
wild.
New information on the woman shot by Los Angeles police following a hit and run on a freeway in the Eagle Rock. I'm David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leva. Just minutes ago, we learned that Jillian Schreiner was shot by officers during a search for the hit and run suspects. According to police, officers were searching a home in the
She's fine. She walked the gurney.
neighborhood for
Oh,
one
yeah,
of
they
the
shot her in the shoulder. She went back in her house for like 30 minutes before they got her to come out, so she was fine. Like
Suspects.
You
When
wouldn't
they
be
spot-
hanging out for 30 minutes waiting to go talk to the cops, flushing drugs or whatever.
What the fuck's she doing though? Like, why would she come outside and get involved in somebody else? I don't even understand.
Oh, so all right, Roy.
Hey,
so,
man.
Yeah, so you know how like when something will like be going on, right? And it ain't got shit to do with nobody. You know how like white women will see that shit and go, wait, but it's not about me right now.
Right, yeah, it's not
how
about
do I
them for a
make it
second.
about me? So that I think that's what happened. That's what I suspect happened.
And honestly, like her bassist husband was going to stop her, but he didn't want to gaslight her and call her crazy.
Apparently, she used to be an escort, so maybe she's a little
crazy,
sketchy.
Okay.
spotted Schreiner standing in her front yard next door, armed with a gun. They claim that she ignored commands.
Can't turn her hoe into a housewife.
To drop the weapon, and that's when officers opened fire. Schreiner was taken to the hospital and treated for a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. We ran her address, and it comes back to Jillian and Scott Schreiner. He is the bassist for the band Weezer.
Hello, I'm Mark. We couldn't have gotten a shootout with like a wife of a guy from a cooler band.
No. Best we could do is Weezer, man. I'm really sorry.
That sucks.
Listen, man, no one's more disappointed than I am, okay? Now, I want to point out what you're about to see. YouTube is actually a guy with really bad gyno. This is not a girl. This did not used to be a girl, so I'm allowed to play this video. Just FYI.
Oh, no. That's bad, kind of.
Getting in shape to play professional soccer. I'm not here to teach you anything nor tell you what to do. This is what works for me, and I don't care what anybody else does.
That's confidence,
Wait.
huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What? He's going to show you to play soccer. What's the problem?
I mean, you could do that with a shirt on, right? Most soccer players are wearing like a jersey or a shirt.
I just realized Norm Poster replied, "Come on, man, I'm drinking my breakfast smoothie over here." That's gyno, man. Some people get that.
It's not great.
Yeah. It just happens when like some people do have like an estrogen problem, or like the people that actually aren't producing enough testosterone. It does look like that, but those are moobs.
They cycle
Those are
and they don't
moobs.
take their serms.
Those were moobs. Dawes Palace says Tim Pool didn't even know that you can bring weapons on school grounds yesterday's stream. The guy is so far detached. Wu-Tang Killer B says fat people at the gym get so much encouragement. It's the ego lifters that are bad. Yes, dude. Yes, absolutely. Fat people at my gym always get more encouragement. Sky Lego says Tim Pool's using the house analogy because not in the house because he's retarded. You know what isn't retarded, though? Heading over to revengeofthesist.locals.com or patreon.com/we're not sorry to watch our exclusive Wednesdays and half of Friday shows and our movie riffs and a whole bunch of other stuff that you get. before
Also,
anybody else.
revengeofthesist.locals.com.
Boom!
Patreon/we're not sorry.
That's right. And I'm going to go enjoy some weed cigs right
And I'm
going
to disagree with Royce. I think it is retarded to sign up, but in the cool way. Like they were saying it like in the 90s.
Yo, that's retarded.
Yo, that's retarded, bro. So sign up, you retards.
Sign up yeah, you know what? Sign up, you gay homos, but like in the cool way.
Yeah.
Like
you
Harvey,
pussy-ass
like Harvey,
bitches.
Harvey Milk.
Yeah. It'd be like, like people remember when we were growing up, be like, what up, you pussy ass bitch? Like, that's
Yeah. My mom hated when I greeted her that way.
I bet that only happened one time.
It was only once. Weed6.com, promo code RDC gets you 50% off. They're a great sponsor of the show. Pessy, you're next.
Yep.
Mercer on the night.
Oh, yeah. Tonight on Nightwave, we're starting a...
race war.
No, we're starting a beef. New drama coming, new beef. We're now beefing with Midnight Riff Party.
What? Oh, I know why.
Oh yeah, no, right, because I said the song Espresso sucked, and everyone thinks that I meant like Sabrina Carpenter, so now I'm just like going with it and posting a picture of like a dude in makeup.
No, lean
that looks
into
like
it.
her.
Sabrina Carpenter sucks.
her
She's
alone.
ugly.
Leave her alone.
She's ugly. She looks like a literal carpenter. Guys, we're out of here. Virgie?
He's dead.
Huh? What?
Show?